Okay, hello. I'm so excited to be here with Anna, who I've just met recently through a post that she put out in a group that I'm in about helping people with their Instagram. So Anna has really inspired me with her confidence and her sort of like go get 'em attitude, because what she does is, well, I mean, your main business is around tourism, isn't it? It's around renting out Gites in Gites. I always say it wrong. in France, and obviously at the moment that's not happening. So she's turned her attention towards Instagram and helping people get started on Instagram, and has really inspired me to start bringing more of a story into what I'm doing on Instagram, and has helped me to see that perhaps my life and the way I've done things can be interesting to people. So I'm hoping this can be helpful for a lot of other people too, who are worried about how to get started on Instagram and what to do and what to post and what to say. And yeah, I will just turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks very much for inviting me to do this. So basically, yes, I'm Anna, and I live in the south of France. I've been here for 13 years, and I run Gites, which are holiday apartments or little cottages, and they're self-catered, and it's really lovely. And I've been using Instagram. Well, I used to historically use online agencies and my own website to garner business, but then later on I used Twitter. But Twitter's kind of like got too big, I feel. So about a year or so ago, I started, probably over a couple of years ago, I started to slowly but surely use Instagram as a way of marketing my business, because I lost faith in a lot of the sort of bigger online agencies. It was such a saturated market. And I began to get more and more business through Instagram. And this year, I would say that 75% of my bookings came via Instagram. The rest were repeats or recommendations, which is wonderful. So no agencies, they're not having to pay any fees. People are booking direct. That's fantastic. So Instagram has proven that it works for me. But I have discovered things along the way, which I'm going to come to in a minute. But of course, thanks to the COVID virus and lockdown, my business has taken a massive, great big at the moment. So nobody is booking a holiday right now. And any bookings that I've got look likely to be postponed till next year. So that's pretty disastrous for me and the rest of us in this industry. So, what am I doing? I'm sitting here with these beautiful Gites in South France, but I can't do anything about it other than the usual maintenance stuff like that. But I did decide that, well, it's not going to last forever. People are going to need holidays, more than ever when this is over.
Yes,
I'm probably going to be doing speciality weekends for mums on the run, people trying to get away from their husbands and their kids for a short while. I'm sure there's a niche there, but equally people are going, because this won't last forever and people will want holidays. So I need to keep showing up. I need to be consistent. I need to be out there always, because when they do book a holiday, I want them to think of me first. So I'm still doing that in a sort of much more subtle way. And in fact, I joined a small business mindset challenge program, and I'm sort of going to quite a lot of little small business groups at the moment. In fact, I go to the opening of an envelope at the moment. One, because I wanted to keep busy and be focused, and I just wanted to sort of learn what I could do. And I had a couple of ideas of what I could take online, because obviously I can't sell a holiday online as such, right? So I was blocked. I had a couple of ideas, and one of which was my Decluttering Life laundry business. But I felt that there were other things that people needed more now. And somebody said to me, Anna, we love your Instagram. We love that, that's them saying that, not me, but they loved how colourful it was and the engagement I was getting. And I had also coincidentally been contacted by somebody else who ran a small business women's group, actually, who had interviewed me as well, because she liked how my engagement was growing. And somebody said, I would pay you to be my Instagram coach. And so I was born, me again was reborn in this lockdown as an Instagram beginners to Instagram or social media coach, because that's what people do actually need. They don't necessarily need their life laundered or decluttered or reorganized. I mean, you do, and clothes restyled, all that's very good, but what we really need and we're all worried about is our businesses and how we're going to survive this. And there are different ways of looking at it. Some people, so I can't sell my business, so I had to use an overused word, pivot. I pivoted, I adapted myself to sell something online, and it gives me an immense pleasure because I get to meet lots of wonderfully interesting people like you, for example, Lee. And I think that loads of other people can perhaps pivot or adapt their business too. But most importantly, you do need to keep your business up there and being seen by everybody, because things will change. There's people are if you've got a product, people are still buying. People still do have money. Birthdays need to be celebrated, and occasions need to be recognized. So whatever there is, and there's a service there for everybody, and this won't last forever, so we have to sort of think about it. So I think it's really, really important that we keep showing up, and that's my kind of mantra. Just keep showing up, being consistent.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And I think when we go through these times when in our lives when things aren't going well, it's those sort of like bursts of color that got us through that time that we remember. So like a couple of years ago, I went through a really rough time where we lost our business completely. We had nothing. And it was the sort of people online that I found during that time, like the sort of big business coach names who were just this like, there was one in particular who would release a video every Tuesday. And it was like the thing I looked forward to the most, because I was in such a dark place, not dark place, but I wasn't in a happy place. And this person and her content was just like such a shining light for me at that time. And when you're going through something that's not so great, it's those like, you remember those people even more than when your life is normal and happy. So I think if you can show up and be that person for somebody,
absolutely,
at this point in time, it's incredible.
Instagram also, or social media, I mean, it's social networking, remember, as well. So you're getting to meet lots of wonderful people, and who knows what doors could open from that, and what collaborations can happen, and connections as well. But also it's about adding some value. So when you have something, what value are you adding? Or are you being inspirational? Are you being educational? Or are you just simply being entertaining? And I think right now more than ever, we need some humor and fun in our lives, and when I see something that makes me smile, I'm going to remember that. So I was just talking to, literally just minutes ago, I was doing a one-on-one coaching with a financial advisor. Let's face it, not the most sexy, exciting subjects at the best of times, and right now, not at all. So her business, a bit like mine in tourism, a bit like that at the moment. But I said, you know what, let's have a spin on it. Let's show people that that it doesn't have to be sell all the time. Let's talk about other stuff, and let's have some humor and have some fun with it. Let's make talking about money suck a little less, so it's sort of trying to find a different angle, and you can subliminally still sell your stuff. But I think if you can do it with some humor as well, I think people would really appreciate that right now.
Totally. And I think the one thing I learned from you, which, it's something I know and I tell people when they ask me about Instagram or social media, but I just have struggled to implement myself, is it's all about stories. Like, people want to do business with people. So your social media is not about just promoting your stuff all the time and pushing your what you're trying to sell. It's actually about people getting to know you. People want to do business with people that they know and that they like and that they trust. And that's what you're doing, is creating this picture of a real human that potentially people want to get to know and spend more time interacting with online.
Exactly right. And as I said, this financial advisor, if I'm going to invest loads of money with you, I want to trust you. If I'm going to do business coaching or a life coaching or mindset coaching or health coaching or fitness or healing or whatever it is, I need to connect with you. So I want to know all about you and build that relationship. And let's face it, in marketing, advertising, Instagram, Facebook, it's a long-term engagement plan. Don't think you're going to get hits overnight. It takes time to build it up. It's about building that connection, the relationships, and the connectivity with people as well. And people have stories to say. And if you go onto Instagram right now and you look at stories, those round things at the top, and you click on them, you'll see that people are actually talking about anything that's not even slightly relevant to their business. It might be what they're cooking. It might be about the fact that their husband's really irritating them. But actually, if you build empathy and you get a connection and you kind of get to know that person, and it makes you like them more, particularly if they share the same values as you, or maybe you don't like them and that's fine, you stop following them. But inevitably when people kind of bear themselves a bit more, and show the mundane and normality, because you can't in this period keep, there are only so many things that we can keep doing. You can't keep selling, so we've got to talk about other stuff. So let's talk about what's going on. And that's why when I chatted to you, Lee, you told me about, your lifestyle, and I said, my God, you are inspirational. The fact that you sold up everything, you pared your life down, you simplified your life, you sold everything and took a massive gamble and a risk to take your family around Europe or the world or wherever you're going to go, because you can still do your business online. What a story is that? What bravery. And I think you've got a big story to tell, and I want to be seeing that.
It's so easy to forget that your life is interesting, though. I think that's what you taught me. I'm like, well, this is just my life. Like,
yeah, but
maybe it sounded exciting to me 2 years ago or 3 years ago when I was planning it, but now that I'm in it, I'm like, yeah, it's just life. You forget that it's still super interesting to other people.
It's super interesting to other people. I mean, most people, do live their lives, working in an office, square box, go home to their house. That's it for the rest of their life, because maybe they don't want to and they're comfortable. Some people do, and they would love to do that, but don't have the courage. What they need is to hear these stories, to be inspired, to say, no, you know what, it's okay, you can do it.
Yeah, it's possible.
But it doesn't matter what your story is. I mean, people share. I mean, I recently shared, the death of my dog, which was just like, so personal to me, but it was such a major part of my life. He was a mascot to me, my business as well. He was a very large part of my life because he was 70 kilos. But I couldn't not talk about it, because that would have been not being me. So I talked about it in my stories, and I did a post about it, and I got so much engagement from that, and so many people. I mean, obviously,
real human stuff, isn't it? It's
real human stuff. People need to know, and they care. They really do care. I do also think that Instagram's quite a nice place. It's a kind place as well.
I'm finding that as well. And I love your Instagram, I must say. I've had to scroll through as far back as I can go, and I saw your whole, all the stories about your lovely dog, and it's you've really inspired me to do a similar thing, to bring the stories of my life. I think a lot of people that I'm working with have said to me, like, how do you get over that fear of social media? And that's been huge for me. I was telling someone yesterday that it's not natural to me, and I still wake up at 2 a.m. sometimes and go like, oh my gosh, my face is all over social media. Like, what am I doing? But you have to be visible, and you have to, I think there's a big part of it is trusting that there are good people out there for you to connect with and to make friends with, and that there's kindness out there, and not focusing on the fact that there might be unkindness or
there is, you get that on Twitter, I think, more, and a little bit on Facebook, but not on. I don't personally see it. That you hear of trolls or whatever. But then, they are the minority, and they're not your tribe. They're not your community. They're not your audience. They're not your followers. They're not going to buy your product or your service or follow you or whatever you do. So we don't care about them. And I did a mindset coaching. I'm doing a mindset coaching program, and the best thing I've ever learned is what other people think of you is none of your business. So what other people think of me is none of my business. And there's been lots of things like imposter syndrome and comparison and all of that sort of stuff. And I worry about, I'm 55. I mean, there's all these young, more gorgeous people with straight white teeth and no wrinkles, what have you. And I think, you know what? There's also a lot of people in my age group, or people that, that just look like normal and don't care.
They're a 22-year-old with perfect teeth and hair.
And that's right. And they're not my customers either. They're not probably going to build to book a Gites or necessarily have a one-to-one with me. People are kind. They want that. They are kind. Before I forget, actually, did you realise that in the last couple of days, Instagram have got a new sticker? So when you do your stories, you can add a new sticker, and it's to support small businesses.
I've seen that. Yes.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
So we can share each other's, and you should get everybody here in your group, perhaps in the comments or wherever you're going to put this, to put their Instagram accounts, and we should all sort of share each other and tag it with this new sport, new business, because it's really about
good idea.
each other.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for how to find your stories, how to figure out what stories to tell about yourself?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people really like to meet the maker as well, first of all. I've been asked, and I've done it, and I think you've got to repeat it as well. You've got to keep repeating it, because remember, you're going to get new followers, and it drops down. Why am I in France? How did I get to be here? So that, what the story behind the person. So there's a story. What inspired you to do this, or what inspires you to do that? These are all stories, and there's a lot. You've got a lot of information. If you are an artist and you paint flowers, what inspired you to choose irises, and what's the story behind that? Your feelings and your thoughts. There's lots of content out there, more than you realize. But I go and be inspired by other people. Go and look at other people and see what they're doing. And if they inspire you, maybe that that something new will come from that. Or if they inspire you, a nice thing to do again is to share them to stories and tag them and say, this person inspires me, or this person makes me happy. And then, or this person has got a brilliant business model, or whatever it is. And in turn, that it builds up connectivity and, engagement. And it just, it spurts, the more you network and talk and chitty chat and stuff like that and brainstorm, ideas come up all the time. So,
it's just about getting out there and starting. And you're great at that. I only met you 2 weeks ago, but just watching you over the last 2 weeks, you just like,
well, you know what? It's feel the fear and do it anyway, right? And you know what? I do get nervous, and I did really rush quickly and put some red lipstick on before this, and I've got a light here. But you just find, and I put some mascara on. But I've been doing loads of Insta lives recently, and my followers haven't grown massively because of them. But I'm I'm out there, and just because I just really enjoy meeting and chatting and being inspired by inspirational people, and their businesses and what they're doing and how but I try not to talk always only about Instagram or the virus. Last week I talked to somebody about the menopause. The other day I also talked about curly hair products, and next week she's going to do a live makeover, because there's lots of women in my age group that have got really no idea how to put makeup on. I'm talking about myself here. I did an in bed with somebody, and a Perros with somebody else. It's and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And the girl I did with the curly hair, she's a hair and makeup artist. She didn't want to do it. She kind of wanted to do it, but she was terrified. I said, have a little glass of wine. And we did it, and afterwards she was buzzing, and she thanked me afterwards. I feel so good. I've dreaded this sort of thing since childhood, but usually the thing we fear the most, it actually is nothing. And I can coach and help people with that as well.
Yes, you just got to, as you said, you've got to feel the fear and do it anyway. And once you've done it once, I think
it's easier.
It's like this massive monster that you've got to tackle, but as soon as you've done it once, it's actually, you realize it's okay.
Absolutely. And also, we do that comparison thing. It's like, there's always somebody prettier, younger, better, blah, 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 than you. But actually, also remember, we only see, and they've got, you see all these Instagrammers with these beautiful homes and stuff like that. I didn't link show you mine, by the way. I just don't know why I lent there. But you kind of, you see these amazing front of houses, but what you don't know is what's going on in the back of the house.
Yeah.
Actually, the TV presenters, they could be as nervous as hell. Lots of very famous musicians puke up before they go on stage. They're nervous, but once you're there, it's absolutely fine. And then when you've done it, that sense of achievement. And I think also have fun with it. Right now, more than ever, you can have a play around. People are so forgiving and really supportive. Have fun with it.
Yes, it doesn't have to be perfect.
It doesn't have to be. If it's perfect, actually, I don't think people like it. There are some Instagrammers out there doing really beautifully edited photos and videos and whatever, and actually just think, oh, yawn. It's like a TV advert. I actually like it when there's lots of, oops, sorry, I shouldn't have sworn, or drop. It's fine, because it means that we're normal, we're human, and we can relate and empathize with that person.
Yeah, and it's real life. I agree. I mean, I'm agreeing with everything you say, but at the same time, it doesn't mean I implement it all.
You're going to, though, aren't you, Lee?
Pardon?
You are going to, though, aren't you?
I am going to. I'm starting to. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I saw. So yeah, I think that, also just so you know, I mean, Instagram obviously has the usage of Instagram's gone up by 40% since lockdown, and it's a very noisy platform. So you do need to be out there and sort of be out there consistently to keep showing up, because the algorithms will prevent that. But the other thing the algorithms really like are videos. And think about it, when you're scrolling down, you see lots of pretty pictures scroll down, but when you see a video, you're more likely to stop, right? And then you're gonna have a look at it, and then you might read their content. So
so it's more video is definitely more eye-catching.
Absolutely. And I know, so I'm not particularly brilliant at teaching video or how to do it, but I do know somebody who does, if people want to get in touch with me. But also I use stories a lot, and sort of, I just do my own. I hand hold it and just walk along, in my courtyard, and perhaps, I talked about the builder yesterday doing some work, and, just talk about stuff. It's just the more you do it, the easier it gets, and stop worrying about what people think about you, because actually they think mostly, well done you, actually.
Yeah, they do. I think we all have this fear that people are all going to think, who does she think she is? Or it's that imposter syndrome thing. Like, what does she think she's doing? But actually, most people look at it and go, I wish I had the courage to do that.
That's right. And actually, like I say, the people that do think, or who does she think she is, whatever, fine. They're not my tribe. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you, the people that are my tribe. So I know that's an overused word, tribe, as well. But your community. And I want to, I don't have millions, I don't have thousands and thousands of followers. But I truly believe that the followers that I have are authentic, genuine followers that care, potential guests, their old guests, their existing guests as well, and their clients on Instagram. And they're people that I want, if I were having a party, I'd invite them all, They're not people that I wouldn't invite to my house for a glass of wine.
That's great. And wouldn't you rather have that than 10,000 people who...
Absolutely. And the woman who invited me to do an interview a few weeks ago, I said, why are you asking me? You've got many thousands more followers. And she goes, yeah, but I don't have the engagement interaction that you do. And it is about that. But you know what? It is hard. It's not hard work. It's not rocket science, but it is work, and you have to dedicate and commit your time to it. And I've worked with people, and I said to them, if you're not going to commit, there's no point in you doing this. You're just wasting your time, because you've got to put work into it. And it's like anything, the more you put into something, the more you get out of it, right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So, okay, just to finish off, the biggest, I think, stumbling block for people is what they're going to post. How am I going to come up with all this content? How do I come up with something for every day? Do you use a scheduler or a planner? Do you plan out content, or is it off the cuff? What would be like your number one sort of tip for someone who's
that's a very good question.
Big this is going to be? That's
a good question, because I personally, because I am a techno bimbo, and therefore wouldn't even know how to work out a scheduling plan. That doesn't appeal to me, but some people like that. But I personally am much more spontaneous, and I post practically every day. There might be the odd day that I haven't posted, but I've got quite a lot going on there. But I will normally do a story at the very least, so I will be active on there in some capacity. But I find it, I have to react to how I'm feeling, what's happening in the world, to make it relevant. If you plan stuff and then something happens and you planned it, and like we've had a meteor that's killed half the world, but you haven't referred to that, or do you know what I mean? It's not real, it's not authentic, it's robotic. And right now more than ever, as I keep repeating myself, people want to meet you and have that authentic connectivity. So if you're just this is just my opinion, but I think if you're just planning it like that, you can have a structure and have an idea, but be adaptable. Yes. Yes, I've got my post plan for today. I know what I'm going to do today, and I probably know what I'm going to do the next couple of days, but that can change.
Yeah, you can adapt it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But when I work with people, I look at also what I will look at what they do. I help them build a profile, which is really, really important. I help them find the right hashtag, which is really, really important. And I help people find their story as well, because showing them where they can go look as well. So everyone's an individual, but everyone has content.
Yeah, that's true. I think the best tip I've ever got from someone was to schedule out your sort of business-like content. So maybe your 1 or 2 posts a week that are about an angle of your business. and then let everything else just be off the cuff. So just
yeah. Like I say, we don't want that hard sell right now.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, very often if you look at my post and you read the content, you'll see there is always some subliminal thing going on. Perhaps there's a reference, subtle, but it's there. It's there. But I don't put it in your face very often at all. And now more so than ever,
yes,
I don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you do is just a part of your person and your personality, not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been lovely. Thank you.
Very, very much.
Your lovely background, I must say.
That's my study.
So, we're in this apartment, it's not ours and it's furnished and there's no like nice space for me to sit and do these sort of things. And the space I can use, I've got a family in there, so I don't want to keep kicking them out and making them sit in a bedroom.
I am very lucky. I have got you've got a big space, so I can send people away. Good.
Nice and interesting. Okay, thank you. This has been wonderful. Yes, sorry about the tech issue to start with, and hopefully we can do something like this again sometime. I'd love to build this group and have more kind of something more specialized later down the line, perhaps just about how to bring your story into your Instagram or something.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, and of course if people want to contact me directly, I suspect you'll probably put my link down there for you, so that'd be great. And I'm very happy to come on to your group and do chats or whatever, anytime you want. So thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing your stories, Lee. Get out there.
There were a couple there. I've been doing a few things. We made our own Monopoly board the other day, so I put all that there.
Good.
Made it out of pizza boxes. It was fun.
Excellent. All right. Well,
okay. Thanks so much.
Take care. Cheers. Bye. Bye.
Cheers.